this song almost didn't become what it is today. And honestly, if a few things hadn't gone differently, maybe you wouldn't have heard it at all. 10 years ago today, since I said goodbye to my family, hoping to find work in the Great Rust Belt. This is the story of how one song evolved over more than a decade. Hey everybody, we're Easton Union. In an age of auto-tune and AI-generated content, we're a band of 4 guys who still want to get in a room together and make something special. Now we want to pull back the veil and invite you all to join us as we strive to create the best art we can and give our music a chance to connect with real people out in the world. Whether you're a fellow musician trying to find your place in this digital landscape, or just someone who appreciates organic music played by humans, we hope you'll come with us on the journey. Hey folks, Brian from Easton Union here. This year we've been trying to pull back the curtain and show you what really goes into being in a band, writing, arranging, recording, and sometimes completely reinventing a song over time. One of our most recognized songs thus far is called The Great Rust Belt. But what most people don't know is that it's had a lot of different lives. And today, I want to tell you that story. I actually wrote Rust Belt years before Easton Union even existed. At the time, I was living in Charlottesville, Virginia, and I was playing in a different project called the Brian Patrick Band. Around then, I started experimenting with writing from the perspective of characters, really building out who they were and what they had been through. That's where a character by the name of Cyrus Lee came from. Now, you may have even heard us play a song with the same title, Cyrus Lee, live. And the Brian Patrick Band put out a version of that song on a record because this guy's actually been behind a number of tunes I've written. Rust Belt is kind of a continuation of his story years after some life-altering mistakes and the weight of the way those decisions impacted his life. Originally, the song was a slower acoustic, kind of stripped-down Americana thing with harmonica carrying the melody. I can't recall where I got the gun, but it seemed good to have me one. Eventually, life brought me back to Northeast Ohio, and like a lot of musicians, I was looking for the right group of people to build something with. When I saw a band forming called Easton Union, and I knew one of the members, I just decided to take a shot. I invited myself to a basement rehearsal with these guys that I barely knew, and I just went for it. Luckily, it stuck. When I brought Rust Belt to the band, something really interesting happened. They heard something in the song that I never had. They wanted to make it faster, more rockin', bigger sound. And when we tried it that way, everything changed. And you couldn't count the men like me, left their homes and families, only to end up out on these streets. this song suddenly had a different momentum. The bridge exploded. It felt like it was really going somewhere. The harmonica, it didn't really fit the same way anymore, so we swapped that out for some electric guitar that became the new melodic voice of the song. Then came the outro, this extended coda that we added, and it turned into one of the most powerful things, both in the recording and in our live shows. When it came time to record, we were going for a real band live in the room feel. Now, we did some overdubs, but we wanted to capture the real dynamics of musicians in the room together. But Rust Belt just felt like it needed something else. So I tried something different. I tried a slide guitar part. I was inspired by the kind of David Lindley, Jackson Browne kind of thing. And I'm no David Lindley, but, you know, after a few takes, I feel like it kind of came together. And when it clicked, it felt like the missing piece had always been there, just waiting to be discovered. We finished recording in 2019, and then everything kind of stopped. First, it was vinyl record delays, and then, well, you all probably remember the pandemic. No shows meant no release party, and we didn't want that. We wanted to celebrate our EP. So instead of releasing, we kind of sat on it for a while. Several years. But somebody had the bright idea to send Rust Belt to the Summit FM radio station here in Akron. And thankfully, because they didn't just play it a time or two, they put it in the regular rotation, and they still play the song today, 6 years later. Since then, Easton Union's sound has evolved quite a bit. We've been moving more in a classic soul direction and some things that are funkier, using different textures and horns. And what's been really cool is that this song has evolved along with us. Different instruments taking the lead. Sometimes the harmonica, sometimes guitar, sometimes even trumpet, or last year a whole horn section for a show. And that's when you know a song has something special, when it's able to adapt to multiple situations and instrumentations and still shine.
Childhood view and the work was on. Mostly slept in the old shipyard. Bills were closing, seems like every day. You couldn't count the men like me, left their homes and families, only to end up out on these streets.
So yeah, the Great Rust Belt took kind of a long, winding road to get where it is today. Different cities, different bands, different versions. And it's still evolving today. Now, if you've been along for the ride watching us evolve, then thank you. And if you're new here, just getting acquainted with us, thank you as well. If you're enjoying this, please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps us out and it helps the channel out. And until next time, much love, Easton Union.